I had about 10 minutes before the presentation to the court. My mission? Somehow convince them that I, their crown prince, had only been testing them with the commands I'd given the previous day. That the test was now over, and that we'd be going back to the status quo. The problem? I'd apparently been possessed by my evil alter ego from another world, who had put a halt to all sugary baked goods and auctioned off the royal jewels to the lowest bidder. And need I remind you people that just because there happened to be jewels in the hilt of my sword did not give you leave to put that on the slate? So I'll be reclaiming possession. Your sale is null and void, Porphyria, effective immediately, even if you are my little sister. And no, you do not get your crumpet back because I was hungry, you fiend. And yes, completing the trifecta, it seemed I had also declared war against my own father. I believe my statement was, "It serves you right for giving me my half of the kingdom early, you nitwit." Yes, it was a lot to deal with, especially early on a Monday morning. And that didn't even account for my hangover from the magical brew that had given my doppelganger entry in the first place. Slipped to me by, yes, my dear sister Celestine, who had said, "I'm not sorry in the slightest. I thought you'd have fun with it." So what do you think? Just as I was adjusting my royal robes and my attitude, really settling back into myself as it were, my mother ran up to me, a rabbit in her arms. Her eyes looked as wild as the bunny's. "Son, don't do it! Don't throw all our hopes away!" I nerved myself to ask, "What is it this time?" "If you want to marry Herbert, fine. We'll change the laws and ratify any human heir you create or adopt, just as long as you don't marry this doe. Your dad and I are very clear. We'd rather not have magical rabbits as in-laws. They'll overrun the kingdom and eat us out of house and home. We're already short on lettuce, and we have that garden party tonight." Now, this was interesting. Had my playful shadow actually done something useful? For years, I had tried and tried through subtle hints, then desperately unsubtle shoves to tell my royal parents that under no circumstances would I marry a woman. Succession laws be damned. Technically, the law only specified sex, not species. I chucked the rabbit under the chin. There, dear, she doesn't mean it. The bunny beamed at me and leaned into my petting hand. In her tiny, bell-like voice, little Chloe, my new best friend, said coyly, "Just name the day, my prince." She winked at me. Mother moaned in horror. Quick as a bunny, she ran off, collected Dad, and corralled my astonished secret fiancé. So that morning, instead of hearing complaints, the king presided over my marriage to Herbert. Now Chloe and her kin are prominent members of our royal council, which makes for an interesting change from all those boring pontificators. And it's nice to have an emphasis on healthy foods rather than cold coinage. So really, I have to hand it to you, other self. Thanks for shaking things up.